I want to be a winner, and I want this town to know what it feels like to win.
Work on your focus. Perspective is everything. And let me tell you something. The problem with most of you is that you see difficult as something negative. For real, for real. And I want you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing me? I need you to see difficult differently. Now that weightlifter, when my man looking at those weights, when he got that iron is heavy. But he's not looking at that iron like, look how heavy the iron is. And he knows what it's gonna do. It's gonna tear his muscles to pieces. He gets it. But what he understands is that if he tears them down, they're gonna rebuild themselves. And when they rebuild themselves, they're that much stronger. Listen to me. The more you go through, the more difficult it is, the more challenging it is. Listen to me, the harder it is. Are you hearing me? The more challenging it is, all you're doing, baby, is building muscle. You're building muscle. So don't quit. Don't give up. Don't stare at the, listen to me. You don't get buffed by staring at weights. You don't get buffed you don't get healthier by staring at it. You get healthier by running up to it and grabbing it and pushing it. Look, push through that stuff. Push through it. You can get through it. He said he won't put on you more than you can bear. You can get through it.
When you're trying to become successful, it's going to be an incredibly challenging journey. There's no questions about it. But once you start making things up in your head and start making excuses and start giving reasons of why you cannot do something, that's when you will fail, and the failure will eventually lead to giving up. And once you give up, you can never go back. You can't restart after you've given up because your motivation, your drive, your focus is just all gone, all out the window. 0% chance you ever become successful if you give up. But if you fail, you can use that as a learning opportunity. You can gain so much information. You can learn so much from every single failure about yourself, about your mentality, about your mental strength, about how you're going to handle adversity when stuff hits you in the face and hits the fan and stuff gets challenging to push through. How are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? That's what failure is all about. How do you grow? How do you rise to the challenge? How do you become a better person, a better individual than you were the day before? How do you improve upon your weaknesses and become the absolute unit that you know you're able to become? It's all about using yourself to the best of your ability. It's about getting rid of excuses because people are tired of hearing them, and you shouldn't make them. You should just make reasons of why you got something done. Never make an excuse, never give reasons for why you couldn't get something done. Just get it done. Figure it out, make it happen. That's what you have to do.
I just feel like your gifts will make room for you. And when you're trying to be somebody else, you block your gifts. You block your opportunity. So you don't see me trying to throw a football. You don't see me trying to, put a basketball in a hoop. You see me speaking. You see me serving, helping kids get their GED. I blew up with teaching a GED class. That's how I became famous. And people always ask me, why did you start there? Because somebody helped me to get my GED. So that's the one thing I had. I had knowledge on how to get a GED. I didn't know how to do anything else, but I had just gotten a GED. So I'm like, hey, I got a GED. If I can't do nothing else, I can psychologically tell you how to get prepared for a GED. And then the GED went to, can you help kids stay in college? So I did that in college, and before you know it, I'm going off on a group of kids, and they call it the Secret to Success video. It wasn't meant to be a video. I'm just going off because here you are with an opportunity to get a 4-year degree, and you playing, and you doing partying and doing stuff that maybe other kids have an opportunity to do because they got a net to fall back on. You don't have a net. So man, I went off. So for me, my gift has made room for me. Every time I talk, every time I speak, every time I educate, doors open. So man, stop looking at the Joneses might be good at what they're doing, or the grass might be green on the other side, but it means somebody's keeping up with it. They watering, they cutting it. It didn't get green like that on its own. For me, when I went to school, I'll just be real cute. Somebody dropped me off, mom, say, you're gonna love it, I never loved it. Like I never even knew where I was going, other than I knew it was illegal to drop out too early, So the book for me is going back to that 13-year-old who found out his father wasn't his biological father. And all of the emotional, and mental stuff that I was going through, and I was too young to process it on my own, and I ended up making some terrible decisions based on it. So this book was written for that 13-year-old when he found out this not your real father. Like this book was like, yo, somebody should have told me this. Somebody should have told me what my strengths were and what my limitations were, because I didn't even know, being a people person, how that would devastate me. Being that I needed affirmation and that I, needed to almost be clingy with my mom. Like I didn't know. So what the book shows you is
read the book, and kids are like, yo, I'm Dave. Yo, like, they're identifying with the character. Like, why? Because I've been in schools all my life, so I know what they're going through. So what the assessment allows me to do is see and then put it in character. So they're like, yo, that's me. I asked the question. Yo, that's me. I'm angry. Yo, that's me. You know, I don't have a lot of confidence. And so then after you read it and identify, you take the test. And once you take the test, you're like, bam, that's who I am. And then you immediately go through my online training series where you are very specific on, yo, that's my gift. And then I give you a list of careers and you're like, yo, I want that career. And then boom, we pair you up with a coach that's like, yo, this is the SAT or the SAT score you're gonna use.
And it was funny, I was just recently in an interview or had an opportunity to do a luncheon with Warren Buffett, you know, and he was just saying that, you know, this is the greatest country to be born in. This is the greatest time, you know, to be born, you know, in this particular country, you know, social media, you know, economics, just opportunity. So, you know, I'm the American dream. I represent, you know, what so many people from my community represent. You know, a mom who had me out of wedlock, pregnant at 17 years old. My grandmother kicked her out, not because she didn't love her, but my grandmother kicked her out because she had 14 kids in like a 2-3 bedroom house with one bathroom, 14 kids. Wow. And my grandmother was like, you know, I just can't afford to feed another mouth. So moms was homeless. So when I say the American dream, you know, you're talking about not just my generation, but my mother, you know, trying to finish high school and, you know, getting a job in Detroit, working for Ford Motor Company. So, you know, the journey started with my mom, and I took it from, you know, my mom to an entrepreneur. But, you know, I eventually dropped out of high school. I was homeless for about 2.5 years. And, you know, through education, I think is where, you know, I got my turnaround. I'm not saying degrees. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, going to school and really learning how to identify my craft, how to hone in on my craft, and how to sharpen that craft.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.